We are live. Just
Yeah.
like that. All I have to do is hit a button and it's magic.
Magic.
So Sapphire Rain, Garibay, you are my darling daughter.
Yes, I am.
And we are going to be talking about whether or not college is worth it today. Do you think so? Just your first answer off the cuff, yes or no, without any explanation, and we'll get into it as of where you're sitting at right now.
It depends on the person and what they want to do.
I'm talking about you.
The yes or no answer. I can't. It depends.
Oh, see, you know what? There's a statistic that says that men are better at giving yes or no answers than women. For women, it's nearly impossible.
Well, there's
Do you
just
agree
so
with
many
that?
factors. I could agree with that. It's hard for me to say yes and no sometimes because I realize how many different aspects goes along with it, you know?
So if you were to give a yes or no answer for yourself about whether or not college is worth it at this particular moment in your time, would it be yes or no for you personally? It's worth it.
Me personally, yes.
Okay, good.
It's not necessary though, but I think it's worth it. I still think it's worth it.
Okay, so now our podcast is over. We answered the question. Bam.
No, I'm just now if you would like. I'm just kidding.
No, don't tune out. We have 3 whole viewers, Sapphire.
We have a lot more to say.
I'm glad because I have a lot of things that I want to say to you and I want to ask you. I see you almost every day, but I legit have been thinking about like all of the questions that I want to ask you, and where do I even begin? Okay, so how old are you now?
I'm 19.
You're 19 years old, and you are going to what school?
I'm going to the University of Washington in Seattle, Foster School of Business.
And do you actually get to go to Seattle so far?
So far, no, but fall, yes. End of September, I will be in person.
And how has it been learning and going to college via Zoom? How are you liking the Zoom experience?
It's not easy, but it does have its perks. Especially, I live in Tacoma, and the commute to Seattle can be very long, about 30 minutes to an hour or hour plus. So I'm not too excited about that, but being able to wake up in the morning, eat your food, you can still snack a little bit while you're like in class. And if you wanted to, you could wear a pretty shirt and pajama pants. So that's pretty nice.
Pretty shirt and pajama pants.
Yeah.
Or you could do your school here and then have your mom running through the room in a towel. I don't think it ever happened like that.
College, yeah, basically.
So what classes have you taken so far?
At UW, I've taken 9 classes. So I did running start. So I got 2 years of college out of the way. So this last school year, the one that just finished, that was my junior year of college. But I should have been a freshman. They call me freshman direct still, but I'm a junior. I can go through every single class.
Yeah, I want to know the 9 specifically that you're taking from UW because I have questions about those classes.
Okay, so first quarter, I took Intro to Communication.
Okay, so let's stop right there.
Okay.
Intro to Communication. Mm-hmm. Who is your professor?
I can't remember his name, I'm going to be honest. That was one of those classes that there was no live classes. So I never actually got to talk to the professor. It was all pre-recorded lessons. But I really did like that professor. He seemed cool. The content was on point. Yeah.
So basically you paid to go to a class with a teacher that was never actually there?
Yes. I never talked to him ever. I never talked to my classmates other than in discussion, like online on Canvas. I think that's kind of a downside because that class was pretty interesting. I think we would have had some great discussions, like, in person talking.
What do you think that you're paying for when you're paying to go to college? Is it the interaction with the teacher? Is it the ability to be around other students? What is that money buying you?
For me, I think it's the interaction and meeting new people, and also the teachers. The teachers have great connections. They have great advice. Last quarter, I took a marketing class, Marketing 490, which is, I think, was special topics in entrepreneurship and marketing. In that class, I didn't learn a whole lot from the class part, but that professor, I learned so much from his advice, just about business and life, that it was worth it to me. It was worth it to me. So for me, yes, it's about meeting the people, getting the experiences, and yeah, mostly just getting acquaintances and getting a step into the business world that way.
So your first quarter, the class that you took was that intro to communications class, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the teacher was like MIA. Everything was basically pre-recorded. There was absolutely zero interaction, but you really loved the content, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And then this quarter, you had this marketing class where you didn't really learn very much from the content itself, but the experience with the teacher and the teacher's life hacks and wisdom were even actually better than the curriculum that was being taught. If you were to compare those two classes and you were to grade them, who would get the higher grade? The first class where there actually was like nobody really present and available, or the second class where you actually had a teacher that was interacting and you got to have that experience?
Would you say like grade overall? Like what am I grading?
Between the two, you're just grade. Yeah, overall grade. Like you have to choose which one you like better. It doesn't have to be a letter grade, but who's going to win out of those two classes? Which one wins that?
I think it might have been the communications class. Like it's a really close tie for me because it depends. Like I really like things to be organized. And that communications class was not in person. There wasn't a whole lot of interaction, but it was very organized, very, very organized. And I liked that. Like I remember there was, because you can do the coursework anytime you want. There was no, like, as long as you got it done for the deadline, but you have a week to do it or however long. And so I'd watch lectures. I remember there was a video or a movie that I'd watched, and I remember like just chilling out, watching on the floor, doing yoga at the same time, and it just really stuck with me. But the marketing class, I guess the only downside is that a lot of his advice was very broad, but that's kind of a plus because you can apply it to almost everything in life. The only thing with that class that I would have rather taken a class on, I don't know, business advice, or just, I don't know what you would call a class like that, but I would benefit more from a class like that than the marketing class that was actually taken.
So you have been working for my business recently, and I am not always the easiest person to work with. I know I bust your ass quite a bit. And one of the things that I said, I was like, you're going to college to get that big fancy degree. Do you know how to bring in new clients? Do you know how to book business when there is no business coming in? Do you know what are you learning at college that you can bring to the table and help this business thrive? And I was being snarky that particular day. Today is not a snarky day. Which class do you think is what do you think you're learning right now in college that will help you in real life business? Because the marketing you said didn't cut it. What's up?
Interacting with people, like bettering people skills and talking. I'm working on my talking skills, as you can tell. I say a lot of ums and likes.
I say a lot of so's.
Yeah, mostly communication, and I think the class that I learned the most from was strategic business communication. So lots of communication, but you remember that professor? It was the older guy, Mr. Hochberg. But
wait. Talk about him. What did I think of him?
You liked him. He used to be a PBS news director. He was great. So that
was the guy. Sorry for talking over you, love. Who was the guy that I kept saying, like, I love that guy. I love that guy.
That was him.
Okay, yeah. So I'm a fan of him, and I sent him an email, but he ignored me. He was spectacular, truly spectacular, and that was your favorite class.
Yeah, that was my favorite class. The entire class from start to beginning had a purpose. It all tied in together. And I think I got knowledge from every part of it, just honing in new skills and building them.
How can we apply what you learned in that class into a Smile Like Yours photography?
Being concise. Like one big part of the class is lose a third. So whatever you're writing or whatever you're making, like basically lose a third of it and you're going to be fine. Most of the time it makes it even stronger and better because you take out a lot of the wishy-washy stuff and you have just the great aspects of it. And so all of writing, basically read it through, lose a third.
So simplify.
Simplify, yes.
How much are you paying per class? How much is it the cost of tuition at the University of Washington, Seattle? Do you know?
It depends if you're in state or out of state. I can't give you an exact number. I'm thinking it's around $3,000 to $5,000 in state, and then out of state, it's more. I don't know exactly.
And do you have to pay for books?
Yes.
So that's on top of it, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't you love how I'm asking you about how much your college costs? Like I'm not your mom and I'm your mom, but I have no idea how much your college costs because thankfully you worked your butt off and earned the right to go to school. Did you win scholarships? I don't even know what's happening in your life. Where have I been, Sapphire?
2 scholarships or 1 scholarship. I'm lucky enough to be in a position that all of my school is paid for with financial aid. Partly because I had great grades and partly because of income.
Perfect. So what do you know about people that graduate from college versus people that don't graduate from college?
They say that people that graduate from college are typically, I feel so mixed about the situation. Like, I feel like when people talk to you, people that are older, they always tell young people, go to college and you'll have a job and you'll be successful. But I don't necessarily think that's true. I am going to college and I do think it's going to help me. I just don't think it's completely necessary. Like I said in the beginning, it depends on your situation.
Well, as somebody that's older than you, I will say that I know a lot of adults that have college degrees that they didn't need. I know a lot of people that went to college and dropped out of college and made astronomically more money on their own, whether that be real estate or working a trade. We live in a fortuitous time where, as much as there's a lot of people struggling, it's also a great time of I'm trying to find the right word and it's stuck in my mouth, but I'm thinking about the word affluence. Affluence. Great. We live in a time of affluence. There's a lot of ways to make money and you don't have to take the traditional route in order to make money. One of the things I've said to you is, Sapphire, you should probably just become a dentist because dentists make really, really good money. And then you can go in, get your job done. And at the end of the day, you can travel all over. If you have you'll be set. Like for me, I chose the entrepreneur path. And I truly don't think I can undo that choice at this point. I think it's just who I am. But there's times where, you don't always eat the bear. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't think so.
So if you go out hunting and your job is to go catch a bear so your family has food to eat, you might be out there for a week, you might be out there for a week, you might be out there for several weeks. And, you're out there working every single day, you're putting in the effort, you're trying your best, but you don't end up catching the bear, which means you go hungry even though you did the work. And so one of the books I bought you, which is The Simple Path to Wealth, I bought you that book on your 18th birthday. And part of the reason I bought you that book is that I didn't necessarily want you to struggle. I wanted you to be able to find the easiest path with the least amount of resistance. That being said, I don't always know if that is the happiest path. I think sometimes when things are too easy, people get a little bit depressed. What are your thoughts on that?
Simple Path to Wealth is a great book, and I would recommend that book to anybody by J.L. Collins. That is one of the starters that got me onto investing, and it breaks it down from the very beginning. But I agree. There is a lot of simpler ways to make money, and I could go several different routes. Have a job. It could be really easy. I just go every day and I make great money. I can't do that. I can't.
Why?
It's like it doesn't sit right with me. I like to be changing it up. I like to be in control sometimes. I just have lots of ideas and lots of things that I want to get done, and I'm very, very eager. And to sit at a desk every day and do the same thing, or I can't do it. I got so my business plan, I don't have one set thing that I want to do. It's like a big grouping of different things. I think of it like a puzzle, and they're all different pieces of the puzzle that will make the final artwork or piece. So yeah, I just like anybody else, they could go the traditional route and get a job, and it's easy, and they know that they have it. They don't have to wait to catch that bear. But I'm willing to go hungry and starve until I get that big bear. So
You're so cute. I was like, you've never been hungry a day in your life, kid. And you know what? And that's not a bad thing. Your dad and I worked really hard to make sure that you didn't have to. And honestly, with the way that the world is, we're in a really great time right now. But you and I have this conversation about what happens if shit goes to hell. I mean, truly. And we are in a place where we're actually hungry as a people, and that's quite possible. We have no idea what's going to happen 10 years from now, et cetera. So right now, for me, watching you go through the steps of taking the traditional route of going to college, I'm ecstatic about it. I'm really, really excited. I don't know if you're planning on going on to do your master's degree, but I definitely know that you're finishing your bachelor's degree, and you should be graduating in a year. Yeah. I say that as a question because I'm like, in a year.
So not this fall, but after next fall, I will have 2 bachelor degrees.
What are your degrees going to be in?
Finance and marketing.
Finance. Let's talk about finance for a little minute, because
I love finance.
You love finance, and last quarter your finance class kicked your ass.
Real hard. Yeah, it was my first finance class, Finance 350. All business students are required to take it, and the entire class was failing. The mean of the whole class was 60, which is failing. That says a lot about the class. And I was very mixed because I liked the professor as a person. He liked finance. He was passionate about it. But at times, I think he could have been a better teacher. I thought I was doing great in the class. I had 100% in the homeworks. I got 100% on the first quiz. Everything in class was making sense. So I was thinking, I'm getting it. I went to the second quiz and I got 20%. I think it was 20 or 40%. And that is very much failing for that quiz. And so immediately it was red flags. Okay, what do I need to fix? I went through every single problem and figured out what I did wrong, what I did right, what I was missing. And after that, I had 3 questions that I was unsure about. 3 questions within questions. So I emailed my professor right away, and I told him, I have these 3 questions. I'm worried because the midterm was in 2 days after that quiz. And to come back from failing on 1 quiz, I wanted to make sure I really knew that material. The professor never responded to my emails. I emailed him twice, or 3 times actually, for that one. 3 times. He didn't respond, so I reached out to my peers. I was like, hey, did you guys get this? I missed this. And okay, I felt confident about it, took the midterm, and I got 29% out of 100. Worst I've ever done on an exam in my entire academic career.
How did you feel about that?
It hurts. It hurts, but as soon as I opened the exam, I knew that I couldn't answer those questions. I knew immediately. It wasn't something like, oh, I know this. No, I did not, and I knew that I didn't. I talked to my peers afterwards, and that was about the case with everybody. There was one person who's at the top of the class, and he got 70%. So that's still it's not pretty good. That's not failing. There was this other girl who's an accounting major. She's very good at math. She loves math. And she got same grade as me, 29%. And so that kind of made me feel a little bit better. But when it was happening, I was like, afterwards, I was like, oh my gosh, like I want to be a finance major. This is the first finance class I've taken and I was failing. So that's disheartening, something that you're passionate about and you really like to do and you're failing it.
Well, it's kind of like there's some people that want to be professional singers, but they sound terrible when they sing. And it's their number one dream is, I want to grow up and I want to sing. And when they sing, it makes people cry because it's terrible. What happens is if you go through your academia and you discover, because you said this morning, you said, I hate math.
Well, so there's an exception with that is I like math when it has to do with finance, when it has to do with money, business. I don't like math that's just math to be math. I love systems. When I took my first accounting class, I thought that maybe I wanted to like minor in accounting because I loved how black and white it was with the numbers. But math has always been my hardest subject. I've always struggled with math the most. But that never makes me want to try hard or not want to try hard, you know? I just want to work for it harder. And the thing why I love finance so much is because I love personal finance. So they don't really teach you that in finance or in school. They don't talk about personal finance, but that's what I want to do is I would love to be able to teach people about personal finance, how to manage money, because it's not talked about. And I kind of had to teach myself and you got me into it, which I'm so grateful for. But yeah, without you like being like, hey, there's like, you can make money passively. Like what? Why does nobody talk about that? That's insane. You can make money in your sleep. It's possible, but you're never not talked about.
Nobody taught me. I didn't start discovering anything in regards to that in regards to financial planning and investing and Roth IRAs, et cetera, until I was going through the divorce with your dad. And I decided I was going to make $10 million with Rubber Chicken. And then I started researching, how do you make $10 million? Well, investing. And so at one point, you and I both were talking about going into real estate because there's good money in real estate. There's good money in photography as well. I have had a hard time with the art side of photography as far as outsourcing, which you're aware of. And you know why it's been so hard for me to outsource. How do you see my business evolving in the next 3 years? What do you see happening for A Smile Like Yours?
I'm trying to think of the word for it. I think that there is a specific word. I don't know if it's business management, but creating the systems in place to make sure that everything is done, you know, all of the check boxes are checked. You know, there's nothing missing. Like the entire experience as a whole is there. And that's why I love marketing, because marketing is very about the whole customer experience. And I love that. Like the point, like the first time you see the product, first time you meet the person, like the entire experience. So I think get systems in place so we can make that happen and it's consistent for every single customer. And be able to bring more people on the team to be able to do that as well. And that's totally doable. We just need to find the people and take the time and write down what we want to happen.
So good things are happening in 3 years.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
So how important is money to you?
It's very important, not in the way that you would think. Money is freedom, and that's why I want money. I want to be able to spend my time how I like. I would like to be able to help those that I want to help. And the big thing that I'm learning is you can't help others until you help yourself. And I want to be able to help others. So I'm going to need to get my shit together first so I can help everybody that I want to or can.
You're pretty wise for 19 years old.
You could say that.
Who's your shaman? Who's your shaman? Do you have somebody other than me? Who do you look up to? Who do you talk to the most?
I think the two main people that come to mind actually is Prescott's mom, Jessie. She has helped me a ton actually, and Grandpa Steve. Grandpa Steve has some wisdom that I love. He's a little abrasive sometimes, but
he's abrasive most of the time. I just was reading a past Facebook post that I posted like 10 years ago when I was losing a bunch of weight, and my dad was commenting on like my legs, like that they were almost nice legs, but I needed to lose 10 pounds, maybe. He said maybe probably more like 15.
Oh my gosh,
that's
the legs are almost nice.
Yeah. Yep, they're almost nice. I'm one of those people that's blessed with cellulite, so there it is. I don't know what to say about that. Do you think you're going to, if you were going to get a job out of college, what kind of job do you think you're going to get? Do you think that there's going to be a high-paying job available for you, or do you think you're going to end up waiting tables or doing Uber or something along those lines?
I think I would have a decent job. I don't think it would. Oh, I don't think it would be waiting tables. I could do that, and I would enjoy doing that. I'm so eager about the business. I could get started in real estate. I don't want to be a real estate agent though. That's not my goal. I want to own rental properties, but I would like to get my real estate license so I'm able to buy properties when I want to and do the research, and I want to know what I should be looking for. That's just another little piece of the puzzle. It's not something I want to do full time, but I could see myself like working there to kind of get the ins, what I should keep my eye out for, who I should be talking to. I'm going to need to get into contact with some good contractors, have some people on my team that way. I could also see myself working for like Vanguard if I could do that. Like, I don't know, like I would do that for a minute because I have so many different goals. Right now, I just need to work on building my my wealth so I can continue to invest and create businesses and do that things, be financially free. So I'm probably going to have a normal job for a minute if we don't get like, sorry. I just have so many different things going on that yeah, I can see myself everywhere, honestly, everywhere.
Yeah. So sometimes I like having just a job, and there's been times in my career, because I've been, a Smile Like Yours photography has been my number one breadwinner and income for 16 years. There have been times that I have taken side jobs, waiting tables, or I did marketing for Geico, things like that, and I'll tell you, Sapphire, sometimes having a job is really, really nice, where you just have somebody that just tells you what to do and you don't really have to think, you just do it. Waiting tables is one of those things that's high paced and it's fast paced. So you're getting a lot of exercise. And I also like the fact that you're really making your money being nice to people, which is, there's not a lot of people that are nice anymore. That, so I like being able to be like, okay, these people are here and I'm going to make sure they have the best experience ever. Learning those customer service, because you said marketing is the whole experience from start to finish. I feel like on my end as a business person that I make a lot of mistakes, and that those mistakes sit inside my soul as like a guilty rot. It rots my soul, and I hate those mistakes that I make. And I know that you're a perfectionist as well. Mm-hmm. Do you think you could run a better business than me?
I don't know how I feel about that question because running a business is hard. Like, so I could and I love people as well. I love people. So I agree on both sides. Like, I do like being told what to do at times. I just like everything that looks so nice. Like, I remember when I worked as a lifeguard, I would make sure that every little thing was perfect there. Like, some lifeguards, they would just leave the mats all over. There was like kickboards, like in the walking aisle. Like, somebody's going to trip on that. Like, just like little things like that. Anything that I do, I like it. I like to do my best. And so do I think I could run the business better than you? No. Do I think that I can help? Yes. Just because you're like, I'm still learning some things from you. Like, obviously I don't know how to edit yet, or I know a little bit. I don't have that down. There's some things that when clients message, I don't always know what to say. So there's things that I don't know that I'm still learning. So No,
My goal is my goal is for you to say yes, mother. I can run the business better than you. Sometimes I think that I would be well served to have a business manager manage me. But that being said, I'm a control freak just like you are, and so
Yeah.
that's the thing about having your own business, is that it really is how you are in that business is a reflection of the overall health of the business. So I love having you on my team. I think it is a dream come true to be able to actually work side by side and create and build a business with your child, especially since, what have I been saying to you since you were little? You're the better version of me. You are the best thing that ever happened to me. And you are my future, because I'm not always going to be around, right? You're my legacy. And personally, I think that you definitely could run a better business than me, especially since you're going to be having your bachelor's degree pretty soon.
That doesn't mean anything. Oh my gosh. So I was talking to my economics professor last quarter, and I told her that I was struggling in finance. Economics and finance go very, very hand in hand. And she talked to me about her experience as being a woman in the economist. I don't know what you call that. Just being an economist, most economists are male. And she would get hit on a lot. She would get told that she's not smart. But she told me she was working for this hospital doing their, economics wasn't my favorite. But she told me that there was this guy who had a PhD. I don't know if he had 2 PhDs, or I think he had 2 PhDs. And everybody was praising him, like, oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you working for us. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, basically, like, thinking he's a god. And he got into there. And my professor, she ended up doing all the work for him because he didn't know how to do anything. He has his PhD in 2 degrees, and he can't do a single thing. He's gotten that far and doesn't know how to do anything in his field. He had a presentation on what he's supposed to be doing and basically just BS the whole thing. And yeah, that was a great thing for her because nobody was realizing it. They're still praising him. It's like, this guy is not doing a single thing. So a degree does not measure your intelligence. It doesn't measure that you're smart. Somebody with or without a degree can be equally as smart or smarter.
Successful. Yeah.
Yeah. So
do you think in the case of your teacher, do you think that the gentleman with the 2 PhDs ended up getting all of the credit for her hard work?
I think it caught up to him. I think it did. He got that far, so he's figuring out something. But I think it caught up to him real quick because they'll cancel you. Oh, we're going to talk about that. They in the business world, I didn't know that, but she was telling me that if you deny a certain amount of jobs, you'll kind of be blacklisted and people won't accept you for jobs anymore. And I didn't realize that. I didn't know that was a thing. So, or if you cancel culture in the business world. In the business world, it's real. Yeah. Especially.
So we have 7 comments.
We're
gonna look at them. I haven't looked yet. Let's see what we got. We have Sneha says, so awesome to interview your daughter. Yeah. I'm going to put that blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Sneha. I'm going to be interviewing Sneha in not next week. Next week is Scotland. Kev from Scotland. I have a terrible Scottish accent. Do you have a good Scottish accent?
Nope, not even try.
My Scottish accent is terrible. So the week after next. And then, so I'm doing all of my podcasts are on Thursdays. Imdad Ali says, good to see you, Amber. And then he says, who is this with you? And what is the topic today? Well, the topic today is college worth it? We're talking about college. We're talking about debt. We haven't got into the debt side of things yet. I pulled up some statistics, Sapphire. I want to show you those real quick, and then we'll go back to comments.
Okay.
Hold on a second. So on the statistics side, so in regards to college debt, Roughly 43% of all Americans who went to college took out some form of debt in order to do so, according to the Federal Reserve. But that number is even higher for today's students, about 54% of whom need to borrow to cover their educational costs. What do you think about that, Sapphire?
I think that sounds accurate. It's so expensive. So one thing that I feel so mixed about college is businesses. All colleges and schools are a business that have to keep going, and they need the money to keep going, but some colleges are so expensive. So expensive. It's crazy. I don't know what to say about that.
How much money do you think a college professor makes?
Probably, I don't want to say not enough, but it depends on the school, probably.
I don't know either. We'd have to research it. But one of the things that when we first started this podcast and you were telling me about your communications class where the teacher was never even there, that it was all pre-recorded, I was thinking to myself, is he still getting paid to?
Well, he did a lot of work. He did. So he still had to record the lectures. He had to create the slides. He had to record the lectures. So he still did a lot of work. There just wasn't a class that you had to go to for 2 hours.
Do you think that he did as much work as his colleagues and peers?
Yeah. I think there's some professors that have done less work and went to class every day.
Oh. Ooh. Are you going to spill the tea?
I can. There's not a whole lot to say about that. So I feel so mixed because I respect all people, or most people. I respect people, and I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be a teacher. I've never been a teacher before. And some of these teachers, they're also still going to school and they're getting their PhDs. So that's tricky. I can barely just go to school sometimes. It's hard. But there was one class that I had that the students made the class. The students made the final exam. So
what do you mean the students made the class? What does that even mean?
So each week there was a video. This was for a marketing class. There was a video you had to do each week. It switched off. It was the marketing plan class. So there was 8 different groups and there was 8 different weeks in the whole class. So each week a different group would present. And basically each week was a different marketing plan. So you would add on to the next. But the students, he set up okay, you're going to make a marketing plan. But there was no rubric to follow, which I kind of like. You go with the flow. But you didn't really know what to expect. So the students really made everything. We made
it up.
We made everything. We made the final exam. Every single question on the final exam was for all of the groups put together. They just made questions. So theoretically, the groups could come together and be like, hey, we made these questions. What questions did you make?
So what do you think the teacher even did in the class?
He was really great. He had some good feedback. He was great at, bringing it into conversation. Okay, we're writing all these things on paper. Let's talk about them in class. We had some great conversations, but the participation in that class was the worst I've seen so far. There was maybe 2 people that had their cameras on, 2 people that were talking out of 50. Most of the time, people wouldn't even come to class because they knew that the class was just going to be the same every week. So you knew what to do. You didn't really have to go to the class unless you wanted the extra stuff, which was just the advice and stuff.
Did he give you any advice?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
On the marketing side, did I learn? I'm trying to think if I learned anything that would help me. No.
Have you learned anything on the marketing side that would help? Do you know how to grow your YouTube channel?
No, they don't teach you that.
So that's the thing that I don't understand how they're doing all of this marketing, but they're not teaching how to grow a YouTube channel, how to create your brands, where do you go to get your logo designed, you know, like all of these things that are business tools, but you're not learning any of that stuff, are you? Like, would you be able to sit down at your computer one day and start your own business from scratch and know what to do in regards to marketing it online?
Well, based on my school knowledge, no. Based on like my knowledge that I have, yes. And the tools that are out there, yes. But
where did you get that knowledge, the useful knowledge?
Probably actually working in real life, and the internet, where you can learn anything on the internet now. And so that's hard. I've only taken 2 marketing classes so far, so keep that in mind. I still have about 11 more classes to take. I think I have 11 more classes to take. So marketing, so far it's been super broad. Everything's just broad as hell, like as broad as you can think it is. That is marketing so far. So that's tricky.
If you were to get a job in finance, where would you get a job at finance? Would you?
The only thing I would want to do is something to do with investing. Talking to people about investing. That's about it. I could do the other things. I just don't, that's not my passion. I like talking to people. I like helping people. And finance, you know, sitting at a computer doing math, I can do that, but that's not my end goal. That's not what I want to do.
So you and I have been talking recently about your wanting to help other people and about wanting to talk about finance and how passionate you are. And so I'm like, you know, you really could start your own YouTube channel that specifically talks about investing in money. Do you think you would possibly want to be a financial advisor?
Yes.
So since you said yes, this is what I'm going to say to that. Now, you know that I geek out on financial advising, you know, financial YouTube stuff all the time, right? And most of the people that I listen to are very specific that say, I am not a financial advisor. I am not a financial advisor. I don't know if Dave Ramsey, because I also listen to Dave Ramsey's podcast and watch his YouTube videos. I don't know if he says he's not a financial advisor. I think he does as well. And the reason being is that when you're a financial advisor and you're working for a company, financial advisors are sharks. They steal from people is how I feel about it.
I was just rethinking that. I was like, actually, no, because they have quotas they have to make, and they have to make money themselves. And I want to make money, but not off of other people's, you know, not knowing. I can't do that. It doesn't work with me.
So I want to get into crypto a little bit since we're getting into the meanderings of investing, and I want to go into crypto. Specifically, who is the lady that you bought the course from to learn about crypto investing? Who?
Anna Macco.
Anna. How come you keep cutting out every time you say her name?
I don't know. Am I? It's probably because I was talking over you a little bit. I'm sorry about that.
Just try it one more time.
Anna Macco.
Anna Macco. Yes, Anna Macco. And you paid for her course, which was how much money?
It was just under $3,000.
And you took this course from her so that you could learn how to day trade in crypto? Okay. I'm like, hee, ho, hee.
Fun stuff.
And you haven't really got a chance to really delve into her course or the things that she's teaching right now because you've been so busy with school.
But that is officially summer, so it's all crypto time.
Oh my goodness. So the reason I'm bringing up Anna is because the way that she's branded herself is as a business coach, and is basically she's picked something that she knows that she's good at, and she created an online course that anybody can take. And the price tag for that course is substantial, right? Do you realize that you could do something similar to what she's doing? And it can be like, I could do as well. Like, I could create my own online course that teaches photography, the business of photography, lighting, etc., social media marketing. You can build that now online and brand yourself and create pretty much any business that you want for yourself.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Anybody can do that. Absolutely anybody. That's what I
Do
love
you
about.
think,
Yeah,
sorry, I have this terrible habit of talking over
I
people.
do
So
that
that's,
as well. So you are good.
do you think that when you say anybody, because I got to thinking about that the other day, I had messaged this lady who had just lost her job, and I was, trying to inspire her to let her know, like, hey, you could start your own business. And she's like, no, I can't start my own business. I'm not that kind of person. I am the kind of person that really likes the structure of having a job, a 9 to 5, where somebody tells me what to do. I do those things and I go home.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that entrepreneurs are a certain type of soul, or do you think anybody can be an entrepreneur? Do you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. Yeah. So when I say anybody can do it, but do they want to do it? So yes, they have to kind of have the soul for it. They have to want to do it. Like if you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it very well. Or you could get there, but you're going to need some help, or gosh, I don't know, you're going to have to cheat or something. If you really love what you're doing and you're passionate about it and you put everything into it, I believe that that will come back to you. Like kind of karma in a way.
Karma.
Mm-hmm. Karma.
Do you believe in karma?
I do, 100%. Yes. Yes.
Do I have good karma coming my way or bad karma?
I think you have great karma.
I was mean to somebody the other day. I'm sure of it.
I'm sure there was some sort of reason, or I don't know.
We have more comments, so I'm gonna click on some, okay? Gail said, so I missed the beginning. Is Sapphire your daughter, Amber? Yes, Sapphire is my daughter. She is 19 years old, and she is attending the University of Washington's Foster School of Business in Seattle. The topic today is whether or not college is worth it. Ding, 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 ding. And then that's a hard name to pronounce. Sapphire, will you try to pronounce his name?
Just Saif. It looks like Saif. I don't want
to. Ulahak. She says, hi. He said, hi to both of you. Financial planning is much needed to discuss, but to find the means to generate finance is more important, I think. What do you say? Well, it's hard to have a plan for your money if you don't have any money, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Go ahead. You go ahead. I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, so there's so many different parts in it, and I agree. Like, so some of those people. So you said talk about anybody can start a business. Some people don't want to. Don't do it if you don't want to, because it's going to be a lot of work. And they both have their pros and cons. But sometimes you need to work for somebody to be able to generate that revenue so you can start investing or just start saving. But as long as you're making some money, like whether it's $1 or a couple cents, you can start doing stuff with that dollar and that couple cents, like budgeting, saving, just being okay with yourself, like having an emergency fund, just so when things happen, you are okay and you don't have to be scared or worry about it. But that does take a lot of time, and it takes commitment. It's not easy. But it's
nothing is easy.
Simple.
So one of the gripes that my generation has with the younger generation is the sense of entitlement and the almost whimsical attitude of you don't have to work hard, that your dreams are just going to come true because you live in America. Do you feel like most people, most grown-ups are able to choose the career that they truly want in their lives? Or do you think that sometimes people take jobs that they really would rather not be doing just because they need to get that cash flow so that they can keep a roof over their heads?
Oh, I think people do that all the time. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that, generating that income. Like, you have to do what you got to do. And if you have a goal, like, okay, I want to be there. I want to be working for that person. That's my dream job. Well, you got to start somewhere. Maybe you have to work at a pizza place for a while. Like, I think Jeff Bezos worked at a pizza place. Like, if you look at some big people, they all started somewhere. And just got to start somewhere. Just start. And once you start and you have a goal, just work towards it.
So there is a girl that we took senior pictures for this last season.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having a conversation with her about what she wanted to do to make money while she was going to college.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me that she really wanted to either be a stripper or
Mm-hmm.
a bikini barista, specifically because she says, because I can make a lot of money that way.
And you can.
And she said, and she was super stressed out because she didn't want her dad to know, and she didn't want to be judged by her family. But she was really serious about, I want to explore this. Is that a thought that you ever had for yourself?
Being a beautiful woman, yes. Would I ever do anything like that? No, because I know that I can be successful other ways. And I have more to offer than just my looks. Yeah, I've thought about it. Like, it's hard to be a girl and not think about that. Like, I've seen so many videos of girls who are like, yeah, I'm a stripper in the daytime, but I've got this much money and I'll have my degree. And it's hard to look at that and be like, well, damn, I just have to look pretty and like, and I get my money. But for me, I can't do it because I have too much more I have to do. But if they want to do that and they're comfortable with it, I think that they should do it. If that's what they want to do, you know.
It's never been an option for me either.
Mm-hmm.
I have thought about it when I was young. I thought about trying to figure out why it just doesn't work for me, because it's appealing when I think about other people doing it, you know, but it's not appealing when I think about me doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that makes me wonder, like, is there, like, am I just a prude or something? You know, like, because I don't have a problem with other people choosing that lifestyle for themselves. But for me, I would rather work at a job where, like, because it's really, really hard and it's in the trenches than to take my clothes off for money.
Yeah, well, you don't want people to see you in that way. And I guess it's hard for people not to see you that way. Like Kim Kardashian, people still talk about her sex tape. And how long ago was that? Like, yeah, it got her where she needed to be, but it's always a part of her story. So it's what you want as a person, and you didn't want that, so it doesn't fit with you.
Let's talk about the Kardashians for a moment. What do you think about the Kardashians?
I respect their business models. I respect how successful they are, and they're constantly marketing. And I love marketing, so I respect that. I don't particularly love them. I don't love them, but they're influential people. They know
What do you not love? What do you not love?
The drama. I know it's fun to watch drama sometimes, but gosh, I don't like being in the drama. I'm like, why can't we all be cool? Like, and it seems like they just got so much drama. It's like, it seems like I don't watch their show. I don't keep up with them that much, so I don't know, but it seems like it's a lot of drama. It seems like a lot of doing things just to get the views, or I don't know. I see little videos of Kylie Jenner with her kid, and it seems like she's a little distant, and I don't know how you could not be distant when somebody else is like, basically, I don't know the relationship, but it seems like somebody just takes care of their kids most of the time. But I don't know, they look great. Like the little girl, she's posing in front of the camera, and I'm like, okay, she's born for this. Like, oh, I can't speak on their life completely because I don't know them. I've never met these people. Social media, it's powerful, and you get an image from those people, but you don't really know their lives. Yeah.
So that's the tricky part as far as marketing goes, because, you know, part of the reason I started this podcast and I'm putting myself out there the way that I am is because I am a business person, and now I have a book, my first book out there, and I need the public to know about me, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's been times in the last 10 years that I have been like, okay, well, I have to keep up with the Kardashians. And what I mean by that is, you know, like I have to be on this social media platform and that social media platform. And I have to be willing to open my personal life up for people to get to know the authentic me so that I can set myself apart in the industry, et cetera. Because from what I know about business is that most people buy from who they love, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and There's a lot of things because I actually loved watching the Kardashians. I did. I think they're beautiful and I love to look at beautiful people. These days my heart breaks because there's been so much augmentation with plastic surgery that I mean just so much of it that I'm
And
like,
people are
gosh,
looking up to
dang it.
these people. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you're like, we're supposed to love ourselves, right? You know, we're supposed to love who we are without needing to change ourselves or alter ourselves. And when, you know, you're getting butt implants and your face no longer looks like your first face because you've changed it so much, where was that self-love and just like truly accepting yourself? Like right now, as I'm getting older, you see this stinking neck thing that's happening and you know I hate it. And what do you tell me when I say something? I say, what do you love the most about me, Sapphire? What do you tell me?
Your neck.
You love my neck the most because you know it's the part of me that I feel the most insecure. And would I love to go have a surgeon take my skin and just like pull it back? Yeah, sure, that'd be great if it didn't involve cutting or pain. But then what am I doing? I'm changing me to try to be more attractive to other people.
And I guess like if you're doing plastic surgery because of you and you're like, this is gonna empower me and I want this, and I think you should do it. The only thing that I don't like is that it's becoming so mainstream that little girls are seeing this and they're thinking that's what they should look like. And you can look like that if you want to, but I guess it's, what do you want? Like, are you just looking like this because you want other people to like how you look? Or like, oh, booties are in, I'm gonna go get me a fake booty. If I want people to do it because that's something they want to do to empower themselves, not because it's what everybody else is doing or because it's popular or because the Kardashians are doing it. You know, do it for yourself, empower yourself, love yourself. And if you need to get your neck done to love yourself, do it. I don't think it's necessary though. I don't think it's necessary, but
What if I'm going to get one of those fascia blasters?
that sounds like pain.
It is pain. Have you seen fascia blasting videos?
No, I don't, but that sounds painful. You know what I've been looking at though? They have these little stones. I don't know what they're called, something with the GUA, like a guasha stone. And you just like, you can put it all over your body and you massage it in your cheeks, and it's supposed to help like your muscles and everything. It's supposed to help like loose skin, tightness, wrinkles, complexion, you know, everything. Even like your arms or your legs, your dog. You can massage your dog with it. But it's just a little stone that you just use. And I'd rather do that than, you know.
How much do they charge for these stones?
I guess it depends where you get the stone. Probably like $30-$50 where you get it.
People pay $50 for a rock.
It seems like it works though. I've been tempted, not gonna lie.
Don't you dare buy it. I swear to God, I'll punch you in the throat.
Well, I think that's
okay.
better than getting plastic surgery. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, I guess you can buy a $50 rock. Like seriously, a $50 rock. Now that's good marketing. If you can get people to pay $50 for a magical rock that's going to get rid of your like body udders, then you're the master at marketing. Truly, truly, truly. We have more comments, so I'm going to click on one. Okay.
Do it.
Omer ul Haq says, we don't get debt for education in Pakistan, and last 20 graduates out of which PhD left Pakistan. Pakistan has a lot of really intelligent people. Left Pakistan. America has so much opportunity for their students. I have done masters and I am jobless and I want to migrate to Switzerland or Canada. Did you know that Canada will not let us into the country still?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, Americans are not welcome in Canada right now. And they say it's because of COVID, but I heard a rumor that it's because they don't like Biden. That's a rumor said by one person, so who knows? But we're not welcome in Canada.
Yeah, that's a different topic. But I am so grateful to be where I am and have this opportunity to be able to go for school for free. That's huge, 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 huge. So
if you want your master's, though, you're going to have to pay for that, correct?
They would pay for 4 years, and I got 2 years ahead because of running start. So I still have 2 years that I could have free school with, but I don't think I would finish my master's, and I want to be working I want to get into the workspace first.
So you don't want to go for your master's at this point? You just
I
want to
would
get
go
your
back
bachelor's?
to it, but after I get my bachelor's, I want to start working.
Oh, this is exciting news, Sapphire. This is really exciting news. We have another comment. We have actually a lot of comments. He says, plastic surgery is also a business. That is with business. When people think about money too much, they live for money. They forget they wanted to earn money to have comfort, and they give up their comfort for money. Humans are acting like machines. In the next 20 years, big tech giant will replace with the middle class with robots.
Yes, that's very true. Automation. I think that is going to be the future, honestly.
AI.
Yes. Yeah, we're already going there. Like Taco Bell. I went to Taco Bell and I wanted to get a quesarito, which is a normal thing on the menu. But guess what? You can only get the quesarito if you order from the online ordering app on their website or on your phone. So they're making it so you have to go online to be able to get the things that you want. I think that malls are going to be totally gone, which is crazy. I think maybe a few malls, and that's going to take a long time. That's like 30 years, maybe 50 years. But people, it's all online now. And after COVID, people are a little skeptical of other people. They want to stay safe. They want to have their distance, you know. And it sucks because I love people. I love being around people. You don't get that same interaction online, but I think it is the future.
But why would we want to get rid of malls and actual businesses that you can, that you can actually walk inside of? Because we don't live on the internet. I mean, we are a part of this world. I mean, it sounds appealing on a lot of levels because overpopulation is a problem. So if we have less businesses to go to, then maybe we could tear up all that building and make parks or plant more trees. But I don't see us going backwards that way.
Who knows? I just know that I think there's going to be a lot more automation. Tons. Because talking about business stance, like in finance, I learned a lot. Basically, all businesses need to please their shareholders, businesses that are sold publicly, right? And to do that, it doesn't matter if they'll make more money. Like, you talk a lot about, what is it? I think it's present value. So what is $1 today better than $1 tomorrow, right? And so everything's about the now. What is going to benefit our shareholders now? So it's all about money, and automation is, in the long run, probably going to be a little bit cheaper depending on the job, you know? Like they're teaching robots how to like flip burgers and stuff. Like you might not see a person in the kitchen anymore. Well, fast food, it's very easy, not restaurant, but.
Ben was just telling me about, I think Domino's or something like that. It actually has its first like driverless delivery robot thing that drives around and gives people their pizzas, and the thing about that those are jobs that are being taken away from, real people, right?
Yeah, totally.
So jumping around in topics quite a bit, but also rolling back into previous topics, one of the things that we were talking about is investing. And we briefly touched on the crypto market, which was our intent for today. I want to talk about traditional investing. You started your Roth IRA. Was that in January? When did you start it?
Yeah, in January.
And your Roth IRA, you decided to invest in what?
VTSAX. It's a Vanguard total stock. I think total stock is an index fund. It's an index fund.
Yes, and this particular index fund is it the top 5,000 companies in America?
Top 5,000, roughly.
Top 5,000. So I was thinking about that because I was like, gosh dang it, he wrote that book, I think 6 or 7 years ago. It might even be 10 at this point. But I was thinking about the evolution of business and whether or not those top 5,000 companies are still going to be the top 5,000 companies 10 years from now.
It doesn't matter. So why I picked that one, and he talks about it in that book, is that basically it's a self-cleansing system. So it's not the same top 5,000. It's constantly changing. Stuff are kicked out, new ones are brought in. So I don't know what those companies are right now, but it's a self-cleansing system. So you can't really lose money in the long term. You can when the market goes down, but if you just keep it in there, you don't touch it. I'm doing mine in a Roth IRA, and so that's retirement. I'm not going to touch that until I think it's 59? I think it's 59 or 57 or older. I'm in the 50s.
With the FIRE movement, which is financial independence, retire early, it's going to be interesting to see when you actually do, because if you keep maxing out your Roth IRA and you started now, who knows where you're going to be sitting at financially when you're 35, 40 even, you know what I mean? You might actually have the opportunity, especially if you're busting your butt and doing the work and throwing money at that Roth IRA, you might be able to retire early. As long as you don't do day trading in the crypto market and lose all of your money.
Well, as long as I don't lose all my money, not as long as I don't day trade. I'm like,
no, I'm just kidding. I was just teasing you. I literally was just making a joke.
I was looking at it now. I was like, I could be making money day trading. The only reason I'm not is taxes. It's the only reason. I'm trying to understand the taxes. But if you hold your crypto for more than 1 year, taxes are very, very minimal. Or they go down by a lot. So I want to meet with a tax person to find out the good information about that. But that's the only reason I'm not day trading. Because gosh, yeah, I love it.
But don't you think you should max out your Roth IRA before and make sure that you got that before you mess around with day trading? Or do you
says I can't do both, or I can use my crypto earnings to max out my Roth? That was the goal, why I wanted to start.
I'm going to, Alex commented, we're going to highlight this. He said, apparently Bridgerton fans have been teasing Phoebe, I can't say her last name, Denevor, for what they call neck acting. That's funny. Maybe you should watch her for tips and it might help you learn to love yours. My neck waddle.
That's a great show, by the way. I love that show.
Bridgerton is awesome. Do you know that the main guy character is not coming back for the second season?
Why?
I guess in the books he wasn't really like a big character anyway or something like that. But that's sad. But I mean, I'm sure they'll pick some other really attractive people to Google over. Did you know that there's people in the world that actually have a fetish for waddles? This is a waddle.
A fetish for anything, so I guess I can believe that.
Do you think I should start an OnlyFans page for waddle lovers?
No. If you really want to.
I'm like, I won't take my clothes off for money, but you can fondle my waddle. How
many more comments are there?
Oh, well, they just keep coming in. Like, Omer has a lot to say today. He says, what is your opinion about businesses that are owned by locals, a kind of home industry, or businesses that are owned by investors? I mean, the brand culture. It is tearing apart local businesses. So maybe corporate America killing the small mom and pops.
It sucks because, like, especially during COVID, all the small places were shut down. But guess what? Walmart was open. So was Safeway. So was all of the main ones you can think of. But the little mom and pop shops can't be open, which is so unfortunate. There's been so many businesses that have been killed, and that hurts me because I want everybody, like, I love those businesses. I love those people. These are families, people that you can actually go and talk to. Yeah, so that sucks. Yeah, it's true. It's happening, especially with COVID.
Even before COVID. I mean, here's the thing. So Amazon, there's Amazon, Jeff Bezos, you mentioned him earlier today. Amazon has a whole lot of controversy because they're working their employees so hard and so long that they won't even allow them breaks to go to the bathroom. Jeff Bezos also has said that they absolutely are not allowed to unionize so that they can have, good human rights and workers' rights. They're not allowed to do anything collectively to protect themselves, right? So what happens when these big corporations come in and start killing all of these mom and pop businesses is this. when corporations hire employees, most of them hire those employees for the least amount of money they can afford to pay, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have all of these people, like for example, I could go get a job working at Walmart, for sure I can, and I'm going to make just barely enough to get by, if that, right? Whereas if you own your own business and you're smart with your own business, you can actually make a lot of money. There's the only cap you have on that is yourself, and then what the market will allow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like when these corporations take over and these small businesses start to fail, we're basically putting our people into poverty by promising them jobs, if that makes sense. It's kind of like there's plenty of food in America, but most people are starving because the food that they're eating is not nutritionally sound. Fast food is available all over the place, but there's not really a lot of nutritional food value in it. Did you hear about the Subway sandwiches and the tuna?
They
Test that there's not even any tuna in the tuna fish. That's kind of the world that we live in, is that it's under the guise of progress of we have these big corporations that are coming and they're offering all of these really cool incentives. But at the end of the day, it's like going to bed with the devil, And so Pakistan, they're having the same kind of problems that America has as they're growing and industrializing, is that, these big corporations, IKEA just opened up in Pakistan. So IKEA comes in there, and we all know that IKEA has terrible business practices and does horrible things to the environment. They come in there and put all of the Pakistani mom and pop businesses out of work. And then they don't necessarily even hire Pakistani employees. They're bringing people in from other countries. Yeah. So, that's why when you said, as far as making money at the beginning, Sapphire, you said, I want to be able to help a lot of people, but I realize that the only way I can do that is if I help myself. So I want to make a lot of money so that I can do a lot more to help the world. I love that you said that, because it's absolutely right. And if you do want to see global change, you're going to have to be an out-of-the-box thinker that's willing to go against the norm, because we were going to talk a little bit about cancel culture today. And you're going to have to go after it in unusual ways by keeping your clothes on. I'm going to go over here, and Alex said, where do I sign up for the Waddle Club? Alex wants to play with my waddle. He says, I give you an example. Uber came to Pakistan. 70,000 taxi drivers lost daily earnings of $15. That was their own business in Pakistan. And now Uber people have to work for 14 hours to earn $15. Do American teachers who teach business, do they know who pays the price for success for the corporate sector?
I don't think they even pay attention to it. They do not teach anything about that, no, which I think is crazy. But I have like a love-hate with capitalism, because capitalism is your chance to come up, It's in a perfect capitalist world, I think, is that anybody can have the chance to succeed. But when you start shutting these people down like these big corporations are, then it's not capitalism anymore. Like, nobody else can come to that amount, And these people have to work for 14 hours to be able to make $15. It's crazy. This is Pakistan, very different than the US, but it's still, in the US, it's messed up. It's messed up.
So let's talk about capitalism for a little bit, because I see what I see what you're saying and what you're throwing down, and I agree to that on some level. But this is what I know about people, is that people are constantly craving and wanting and needing change. And one of the things that happens is that businesses continue to evolve as people and humanity continue to evolve. Uber didn't just happen. Uber was created because there was a need. We already had taxi cabs. We've had taxis for a long, long time in America and Pakistan. And those were established. That was an established industry with an established business model. And some young person, much like you, I don't know who created Uber, but that person basically one day said, you know what, we have this product over here, but what we don't have is this other network. It's kind of like crypto. We already have a currency. We already have the US dollar. We already have a way to buy things. Why do we need crypto? Did we need crypto? No, somebody decided that they were going to create an alternative product. Capitalism is competitive. It is may the best man win.
But
And sometimes
those people are shutting down the little people. Like that's not capitalism, is it? You could say so, but
but those people aren't getting shut down. Consumers are making their choices. You know, when people go to visit Pakistan, they could choose to call the taxi drivers, but they're not. They're choosing to Uber. Why are they choosing to Uber? Because it's convenient. It's where the technology is.
Probably
It's trending.
cheaper.
Everybody's talking about Uber. You know what I mean? Whereas on the marketing side, on the taxi side, if you were a taxi person and that was your main business, and you see that this new technology has come in and this new way of doing things is coming in, how do you combat that?
I don't know. I guess my first response was to start doing Uber, but like you said, you're not even making the same money with Uber, so it's not worth it. I don't know what you would do. That's hard.
Evolve and adapt.
Yeah, evolve and adapt. Try to figure out where there's a need for a product or service and make a niche.
Do you know that in my photography industry, Sapphire, that they have been predicting the end of my industry it's been about 7-8 years at least. And the reason why is that, you know, the technology on cell phones for cameras are so advanced that a lot of people don't need to hire professional photographers anymore. You know, so that's been one of the things on my end. So what do? I've been in business for 16 years. When the technology itself has become so advanced that there's no longer a need for what I do. Do I shut down my business and go in a completely different direction? Or do I try to, like you said, find that niche? You know, like, do I find something in my industry that makes me useful? So far, my answer has been find that one thing that makes me useful.
And I think that's still available right now. Like, yes, there's amazing cameras, but it's still going to be hard to take a family picture with that amazing camera. Like, not everybody's going to look amazing. Maybe somebody's face is dark, somebody's face is overexposed. You're trying to get the right angles. You can't, like, there's so many different things. Like, yeah. So I think that photography is still way open. Yeah.
Let's hope so. You know, and that's another thing too, is that you know, there's 3D images that are coming out, and then on the crypto side with the NFTs, non-fungible tokens.
Those are great.
Do you think that NFTs would be useful for professional photographers?
Well, so I'm still working on learning more about NFTs, but from what I know so far, non-fungible token is basically, so you can put your art or a baseball card or something on there, and you can sell it and you get money every time it is resold. So I guess if you created this masterpiece that you think people are going to want to buy and you made it into an NFT, then that's passive income. Once you put it up there and it's sold, you're getting income all the time. If it's like a family portrait, I don't know who's going to want to buy this random family and have it as an NFT. But yeah, if you're having like some fine art, beautiful pictures, hell yeah, people are going to want to buy that. Yeah.
Passive income is a tricky thing to establish. It really is a tricky thing to establish. I'm morbidly curious to see where you're going to be in the next 5 years. I'm not in a hurry to move that fast. I'm enjoying where we're at right now, but it's going to be fun for you to rewatch this video when you get older, to be like, oh my gosh, you know, like, because when you were 5 years old, you said when you grew up, you wanted to grow up and be a rock star and drive a monster truck. Do you still want to be a rock star?
I love music. I don't want to be a rock star, but so like music, I feel like music is feelings into sound, and I want to create some music. So I'm teaching myself how to play the guitar currently. I've played the saxophone, but guitar has always been something that stuck with me. So I could rock out and teach you about investing. Hell yeah.
That would be awesome to see. I love that you don't want to change and become, you don't actually want to be a rock star. You're like, as long as it talks about investing, I'm good. You definitely have, I think you definitely have settled on where you want your career path, because every time I talk to you, it is legit. I want to figure out how to make my money work for me, period. I want to be really smart with my money. And I think that there is a really solid need for that, especially to hear a woman's voice. Because like, I love Dave Ramsey. I follow him, you know, but it's nice to have a young person such as yourself feel so passionate about not being a consumer that just constantly consume, being smart with your money, saving, investing, buying less so that you have more time, that kind of thing. I love that. I want to talk to you a little bit about the cancel culture and where we are at with that. You and I both were a little bit nervous as far as going into this podcast, specifically because neither one of us ever want to say something that's going to be detrimental and harm us in any way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you worried about the ability to be open and honest about your thoughts and beliefs in this current culture?
Yeah, a little bit. Just because people are very cutthroat about their opinions. Because everybody wants to feel like their opinion matters and that they matter. In social media, everybody's on social media. And everybody likes and loves different things. Everybody has different thoughts. But the way that there's so many people who are just, they do one thing or they mess up. They've done a couple things. There's some messed up people out there. But there's also some people, like the one that comes to mind is Dr. Seuss, is they wanted to cancel Dr. Seuss. I'm like, okay. I don't remember what they want. What did they want to cancel him for?
Because there's like, I think they said there's 5 or 6 books that have racist innuendos within the storyline, or it could be portrayed that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not you know, I didn't really dive into it. I will say, do you know that Dr. Seuss books, because of that controversy, Dr. Seuss has sold more books recently than they had in a long, long time. So it kind of goes back to, there's no such thing as negative press, you know. Taking those books off of circulation made a group of people very happy. It made other people irate and angry. And the more angry that they were about it, the more Dr. Seuss books they bought as a way to protest. So really that choice was kind of a brilliant business.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. So it makes me sad that people can be so hateful, especially on social media. It's crazy. It's like, I hope you die. People will say that. Or I hope you get ran over. Like, the things that people will say on social media is like, whew, that's a little scary. Yeah, so that's my only thing with cancel culture is we're all people and we all make mistakes a lot. But we're all just little fleshy human sacks. So you know, give each other some slack. Also, like, be hard. Like, we should not be hating on each other. We should not be, you know, it's not worth it. Why spend all your time hating somebody? Just be yourself. Do you. And you don't have to look at that person. You don't have to follow them. Yeah.
Do you know that so I really like Nicole Arbor. Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
So she's a comedian from Canada, and she's a good looking girl. Like, she takes care of herself. And one of her most controversial ones is Dear Fat People. And, you know, she's basically like saying, hey, you know, like, and I love that bit. And the reason why I love that bit so much is that when I was a fat person, because you know that I was obese and over 200 pounds at one point, I felt that way about myself. Like, not that there's anything wrong with having more weight on your body, but I felt like the weight that I was carrying were because of a few things. It was because I was drinking a lot of alcohol, and it was because I was not exercising, and it was because I was eating a lot of junk food and the wrong types of food. And I liked the fact that, you know, in her comedy bit, she was basically saying, look, there are choices that you can make to change if you really want to. And anyways, going on this Nicole tangent, one day I shared one of Nicole Arbour's videos on my Facebook page because I happen to like her. I happen to like her comedy. I like that it's crass. I like that it's offensive to some people. I like that sort of thing. And I shared it. And I had a friend that reached out to me and was like, I cannot believe you, like she said something actually mean about Nicole and then Nicole Arbour. And I said something that was kind of nice. And then she messaged me. She was like, wait, do you actually like that woman? And I still to this day, I'm afraid to share any Nicole Arbour posts because I don't want people to think I'm a bad person because I like this comedian and I like some of the things that she has to say. And I hate that. I hate that I get stuck in that pattern of worrying so much about being attacked online and on social media that I am afraid to admit the people that I like. I'm afraid. And we're supposed to be free.
Yeah.
This is the land of the free, freedom of speech, but it's not. I mean, you say the wrong thing and you're going to get caned to death.
You could get fired from your job, depending on what you say. Like, there's some things that should not be said, and yes, get fired. But some things like saying your political views, and you can lose your job, like on your stance. That's, I don't know. I'm open to other people's opinion, but I don't think you should lose a job because of it. And that's where it gets kind of scary is you can. Or, yeah, you can get blacklisted in a way. That's what I see is like the cancel culture. Is that, okay, why can't we address the issue? Be like, this person messed up. They did this. Like, do not forget that they did this. But they also don't need to die. Like, they do not need to die, or I don't know, they don't need to be stoned to death. Just remember it. Don't forget. Just,
I really I love the people that, like, especially comedy, because that's one of the things I love about comedy is that comedy is usually uncensored, and it's usually saying the truth about what's really happening in a way that makes people laugh. Like, we have all these serious negative things, but we can find a way to just be like, we can laugh about it a little bit. But now you have all these serious people that are like, no, you can't laugh about that. That is not funny. I have a hard time with that because laughter is good medicine. It's great stress relief. And change is something that is continually happening, right? We're continually making progress, but sometimes our progress seems like anti-progress. It seems like,
well, it's like what you do with it. It's what you do with it. And there's, yeah.
Alex made a comment again. He said, in photography, your niche is your studio, your skill, the quality of the printed product, the experience of the shoot, and the convenience you offer. Just because people have the tech, they don't necessarily have the time with so many things grabbing their attention.
True.
I definitely think that there's a need, and in our industry, that's part of the reason why there are a lot of people that are in the photography business and industry that are absolutely succeeding and thriving despite the technology, because most of us don't like to take our own pictures, right?
Yeah, most.
Do you like that face I just made?
I can make a lot of faces.
He said, it was a very nice podcast, and I have been your friend at Facebook for 8 years, so it's always nice to hear you. So nice today. I'm happy to know you've raised your daughter with such empowerment, and I wish you both the best of luck with your plans. I want to be your guest on a podcast. Share me your email. I will send you my CV. Okay, so if you are interested in being a guest on my podcast, I do my podcast every Thursday. July is currently booked. Anyway, send me an email at rubberroostermedia@gmail.com. So rubberroostermedia@gmail.com if you're interested in being on my podcast as a guest. He also said, comedian also script, if they remember punchlines, they know what they will talk. And then he said, ooh, so many things. Why in America beauty is associated with body and probably love too? I feel that maybe I'm wrong. I hope so, but I feel so.
Well, beauty is very much what you see, especially here in the US. Oh, one thing that I did want to talk about, and that communications class has to go with what you said too. In that communication class, at the very end, when I told you that I watched a movie one day that wasn't required, but I watched it anyways, and it was talking about the difference in beauty standards across the globe. And one thing that I didn't know is that recently, I think especially on the West Coast, tan skin is in. So girls are, laying in sun for hours, and I do love when I'm more tan. I do love the sun, but skin cancer is a really big thing. People, just trying to change the color of skin, but across the coast and in different countries, it's exactly the opposite. They're trying to whiten their skin to look like Americans. They're putting chemicals on their skins, like really, really bad things. It's awful. Like you can do what you want to, but it sucks because they're trying to change the actual color of their skin because they want to look like somebody else or look like somebody that's popular. And what I found was crazy. Olay, the company Olay. I'm pretty sure it was Jim or Dove, one of those two. They had two different marketing campaigns, one in the US and one in a different country. I can't remember which one it was. But basically one was I think to lose weight, and then one was to gain weight. And then they had one for becoming more tan and one for making you more white. And so they're doing these campaigns at the same time. And so it's what makes it so profitable is making a beauty standard you can never achieve, because then you have to spend more money. And it's all about the money, Plastic surgery is very expensive. But it's expensive because there's always more that you want, and there's always more. And I think that's a very big problem, especially in the US, is always wanting more. Like there's never a stop. When does that stop? And then, that kind of goes with happiness too. But it's hard because it's mostly about looks, but there's so much more to a person than their looks. It's not talked about very often.
What do you think makes you beautiful?
I think my soul. I like to think my soul. I do agree. I think that I'm pretty and I love myself, but I also think that people love me because of who I am and my soul and my personality.
What is your soul like?
Hold on 1 second. I'm so sorry. Are you UPS? Okay, 2 seconds.
So you have to go get that?
UPS always never leaves me my package.
You know what, sweetheart, let's just go ahead and end this. It's been an hour and a half. I think this is a great way. So run. I'm going to go ahead and just say that was the end. I absolutely love and adore you. We're going to be doing this again.
Yes.
It was really nice to talk to you today.
Yay.
I love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, sweetheart. God bless you.